Hey, folks, this is another Community Connection special edition. I have my friend and colleague, Jasper Watkins III, with us on this Saturday afternoon. Mr. Watkins, thank you for taking time to come on the Community Connection show. How are you?
Well, I'm just great, and I really appreciate this opportunity to be a part of this with you. You know, a great man, and to be a part of the community, which
Well,
I love.
well, you are. You and I have known each other a long time, and give a shout out to Rodney. What a great job he's done. And it's just a pleasure to get to talk to you. And so you and I both got our headsets on, so we had to pregame it a little bit, pregame it a little bit, but we got it going now.
Right.
So, but I wanted to just so tell us a little bit. This has been a crazy year. We were talking about before we went on air. COVID. We've got things that change in our country that just must occur. Really, which I call listening. Listening and listen to our fellow man. And bragging on you. I mean, you spent 25 years in the military, and you're a pharmacist. You've got so many credentials. Just give us kind of your feelings right now. I mean, you're running for office, and we'll get back to that. But anything you want to share in general, because you moved to this Gwinnett community in Grayson with our audience?
Well, yes. Again, thank you. Throughout my well, first of all, with my I wouldn't say humble beginnings, but I'm an Army brat. So my father had me and my sister. We were in Kaiserslautern, Germany for 5 years, and then Okinawa, Japan for 5 years. So we actually came back to the States in 1975. So I finished the last part of the 11th grade and then all of 12th grade at Ribault Senior High School in Jacksonville, Florida, where my
Okay.
family's from, where my parents are from. So from that point, I had that opportunity to go to West Point, but I wanted to be, because my father was still in the military, but I wanted to be a pharmacist. So I heard about that school, Florida A&M, and how good their school of pharmacy was. So I decided to go there. And kind of throughout my military career with my family, we moved around. I had a time to live in a number of communities. And when I got to Columbus, Georgia, my last assignment at Fort Benning, we came up to this area, just kind of like a weekend shopping. And it looked a little bit like Montgomery County or, that part of Maryland, horses,
Mm-hmm.
pastures. And I'm like, what is this? This looks kind of, I can do this. I can do this. No snow, no snow. I can do
Right,
this.
right.
And so when I retired, my wife found us a place here in Grayson. And by the way, Grayson is a beautiful, beautiful city, a beautiful place to live. Here in Norfolk Plantation, beautiful neighbors. That's why Rodney, my neighbor here in Norfolk. And I just said, you know what? This is a place where after 25 years of moving, I want to call home. And, after serving the military and then being the director of pharmacy for the state of Florida for 5 years,
Wow.
during H1N1 and in several tropical storms, hurricanes, and other issues, I said, you know what, it's time for me to come home. And lo and behold, as soon as I come home to be a pharmacist here at the VA, Snowmageddon hit, I'm like,
Welcome to Atlanta.
wait a minute. Yeah. I'm like, I just left this in DC and, and now I'm a Snowmageddon. But it was like, it took me like 3 or 4 hours to get to the VA. And I'm like, you know what? Something's not right. For this place to be so beautiful, people were just so upset. And I said, there's got to be something. There's got to be something different, something that can happen. So, I felt that getting involved with the community, being with folks, I'm a member of the Rotary, a member of my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a
Yep.
member of Berean Christian Church, member of the Medical Reserve Corps, member of the Gwinnett Chamber, was president for 2 years here at Norfolk Plantation here in Grayson. So I started to just be a part of the community. They say if you want to change, you got to be a part of the change, and you got to talk to people. You got to be with people. And I find that being a military brat, you have to learn to be friends quick. because by the time you get to wherever you were at,
You're moving.
their father was getting ready to leave.
Right.
So it's like, so I mean, I just needed to be somewhere where we could call home, and this just was the best place. It just was.
Well, I tell you, I'm starting, I feel like I do a lot of things, but I'm starting to wonder how you sleep. You probably get your sleep between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., right?
Yeah. Rodney will tease me all the time saying, dude, you're texting at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I,
I'm
I,
like,
I,
I
I
said,
get
Spike,
it.
get up.
I get it. I get it. We're wired the same way. I get it. People think I'm crazy, but well, let's talk a little bit. We've got, the military background. Let's talk about you. So you were in Florida during, what was it? H1? Was it H1N1?
H1, yeah,
So,
H1N1 in 2009.
so
Yes.
how is that? I mean, I've seen you, I just know some stuff we've done together, but with this whole COVID, did that give you some more insights than probably the average person of, what's been going
Well,
on?
yes, it did, because what happened with us in Florida, the way we had to mobilize and organize in Florida, and collaborate was unique, because when I was there, it was the first time that a Department of Health or a state institution had partnered with what we call big box stores like pharmacies. And so we had set up a collaboration with all of the major chains of pharmacy to distribute Tamiflu. And I had collaborated with them and come to negotiations whereby the only thing that the chain stores would charge the state of Florida would be a dispensing fee. But they would let us put the Tamiflu in their stores. And all you had to do, if you were a Florida resident, is show your driver's license or Florida ID, and you can get as much Tamiflu as you needed. And then with that, we set up a strategic national stockpiles for the state of Florida. So we had stockpiles set up around the states. The same thing that I had did when I was in the military, stationed at Fort Detrick, where I managed the strategic national stockpile, the shelf life extension program, and also wrote the medical distribution and procurement for SARS. So I was really adamant about I could do this. And then when you look at the history of COVID and of this pandemic, I want people to know we've had 3 pandemics that did not shut down the country. We had, and from 57 to 58, we had H2N2. In 68, we had H3N2. And then in 2009, we had H1N1. Now, the 2 earlier ones, basically more than 100,000 deaths. And in the 2009, we had more infected. So this is, as they say, not our first rodeo.
Right.
And our economy didn't fall in 58, it didn't fall in 68, and it didn't fall in 2009. But now, understand this. There are more people that die from hospital-acquired infections per year than COVID has done so far, over 100,000. But it's just the fact that with social media and the way that things get out now, it becomes more of a shocker,
Right. Right.
As President Bush said, shock and awe, you know?
Yeah.
And that gets people, hype. But, this too will pass.
Yes.
Social distancing has its place. And if done properly, we can beat this. We can beat this, certainly.
Well, I commend you. I mean, I can't think of any. I mean, when you're talking leadership skills, I think I told you years ago I'd paused my doctorate in leadership, and I'm now a few courses away from my dissertation. And Jasper, I just give you a compliment. You can't have all those experiences with medicines and states and leadership roles and military, and not. I'm giving you my thoughts make a huge difference in Gwinnett County. I mean, and leadership's required right now. I mean, we need leadership, and everybody has a personal choice with COVID and this and that, but sometimes people don't, like you said, they don't know the real facts. They get, I hate it when people are scared to death and they don't even know who to
Right.
believe. And, this show spawned from that. I did a Facebook Live, then people said, is there any positive news on? And I said, there's a lot of positive going on. I know how
Yeah.
much you're serving the community behind the scenes. I say it all the time.
Yes, sir, I am. And that, I think that is more important. And to me, just like, for instance, let's take the Medical Reserve Corps. Do you know that volunteerism in the Medical Reserve Corps could do more for a county than the Emergency Operations Center, or we call the EOC? Because what it does is it puts preparedness and it puts distribution in the hands of the community. So for instance, in my community here at Norfolk Plantation, if we were to set up a distribution center at our clubhouse, that's 360 homes that we could effectively provide not only information but testing and everything to. And also, let's look at our churches. We have some beautiful homes of faith here in Gwinnett County. Some of the larger ones, like Gabrian and Christ the King and Decula and 12 Stone and so on. So imagine if, what do those churches do better than anyone else in this county? They know how to direct traffic for a lot of people on Sunday.
Yes.
And it does not shut down the arteries.
Yes.
Now imagine if those positions and those places were points of distribution. Because let's face it, when I dealt with Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Andrew, what we saw is people that are in shock, the first place they go to is their house of faith or a house of faith.
Right.
And let's face it, the average person today, as when we were coming up, they don't walk to their church. They actually pass about 6 or 7 churches before they get to their church.
That's right.
So actually, if something were to happen, you walk to your nearest house of faith. And that's where you expect health and comfort and guidance. So why not make those homes of faith places where you can distribute information, medication, and aid? And I think that's the most important thing you can do in a community.
Well, we did an interview with you not too long ago, and several magazine things I do. And one thing I loved, the magazine story ended with the word Mr. Watkins says serve. I mean, it was just like, it was just, it gels completely with my heart. But it's so simple, like, don't sit on the sidelines, get in the game, and that's important.
And you have to, because you can't sit and wait on someone else to do it. You have to. In other words, when you're out and you see trash, pick it up.
Pick it up, right?
It's not, I don't care if you don't live there. It's our community.
Right.
Pick it up. And you know what? Picking up is infectious.
It is.
Unlike COVID, it will infect you. And if people see you picking up, they'll pick up.
Isn't that funny? You and I know we've done a lot of education of studying humans, but you don't need the government to tell you to pick up a piece of trash. If your neighbor next door needs some groceries and can't get out, you can actually go help them. That's America.
It is. And that's what I see now. Just this past weekend at Berean, we passed out over 40 meals, boxes of meals to individuals, and I helped prepare, and then I helped guide traffic. And to me, I felt that was more important to me, to help our community with that, to show them that, houses of faith can also be houses that distribute. And you don't have to be a Baptist or whatever to come and get something. It's called community. And we were able to basically give all of that out, and we do it every Friday. So a number of organizations do that in Gwinnett County, and that's why people don't realize it. But Gwinnett County is the best county in the state of Georgia.
It is.
We are the best.
It is, and I know you mentioned, and I think you're right. Now let's go back, because you and I were there, and you felt called to public service, right? And
Yes.
And so let's go ahead and tell people you're running for an important office, and we're doing a special edition because I want people to know. well, I'm losing track. Could you help me here? Is June 9th, right? Is the in-person
Yes,
voting
it's
day?
June 9th. Yes, it is.
So,
It
so
is. It's June 9th.
tell people though why you felt compelled. I mean, I know with your background here, but why did you feel compelled to throw your name in the ring in 2016? You came up 1 inch short. 1
1
inch.
inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. And you know what? I think our county needs a people leader, somebody who can connect and understand, somebody who's not only compassionate but shows empathy, someone who could sit at the table and could see constructively both sides. Well, how am I able to do that so well? Well, being an Army brat and dealing with people over the country, my first bout with racism was being over in foreign countries and you're being the ugly American.
Right.
So I never knew it was anything else, but you're an American. I mean, you just, y'all got y'all ways. But when and something about that did something to me, in that, it put something in me about the pride of the United States of America. And when I got back to the States and I felt what I did, and I went to an HBCU, an historically Black college university, Florida A&M, and I saw how I was treated there. And then when being in the military and being over soldiers and having to tell soldiers at one time, I really don't mind if you don't like my color, but you will respect this rank, because that's what it is about. And that rank saves lives, because that's what we all train for. Now I fast forward to where I'm at now, and Gwinnett County is becoming diverse. So diverse in that if we don't include everyone in what we do, then what you'll have is individuals waiting for you to do something. And we can't afford, as rich and diverse as we are, to wait any longer. I mean, we have to get out there, and you know what? There are going to be some things that people aren't going to like. But you know what? If everybody is brought to the table and everything is compromised on, then you won't have those issues. And what you will say to the rest of Georgia is, Gwinnett County, we welcome you. We understand. And that's what I want. And that's what I didn't see enough of. People throw this, well, we're diverse, we're diverse, or we're diverse, or everything is diverse. I'm like, okay, well, why is it that of the 300 elected officials of all of the cities and unincorporated areas, I don't see diversity? I hear diversity, but I don't see diversity. And let's say I wasn't a person of color. What does that diversity means to me? Not being a person of color. Does it scare me? Or does it make me more inclusive in wanting where the place I live to be better? You got to come to a happy medium somewhere.
You know, Jasper, that's so true. You know, I'm a guy, I've been writing in my Our Time magazine columns for 2 years, unite, not untie, right? You got to bring people together.
Yes.
And, you know, people are like, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people in business over the years I've said, you know, I'm telling you, might not agree with me, but you got to respect the position, right? And
Correct.
but the best leadership, as you just said, is sitting down at the table, everybody hearing what each other has to say, you know, every creed,
Right.
every religion, every race, every age, and listening so people feel heard, and then moving forward together. And I know that's what you're about, because if people are a part of the solution, they might not love it, but they're going to go along with it a lot better, right?
Oh, definitely. Because let's face it, what is the most segregated day of the week?
That'd be
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday. I mean, it's like, wow. Because everybody goes back to their corner to do what?
Yeah.
Now, what better time than to interject diversity into that time, where I go to a mosque, or someone from Episcopalian come over to Baptist, or see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I'm not saying that you have to be everybody's faith, but I'm saying when it comes to time for disaster, when a tornado comes through and it goes through a 5-mile stretch from Lawrenceville through unincorporated Grayson over to unincorporated Snellville, and then into Decatur. That tornado didn't have any color, and it didn't have any
No.
religion.
Nope. Nope.
It,
The tornado showed, that God's in control of that, and we better get together and help our fellow man.
yes, you said it, to help our fellow man, and that's how we come out of this, and we become that county that basically everyone wants to come to.
Jasper, I grew up in Atlanta, and so I was the opposite of you. So one day I want to go back towards the water in Florida. So we'll switch gear. But it was funny. Gwinnett, for years, as you might remember, was the fastest growing county in the country, right?
Yes.
And I think we're right at 1 million people, and I think you said another few years we'll be at 1.5 million,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
So I agree with you. I have heard the same thing for you name the position, school boards, whatever else, about diversity, and this has nothing to do with any particular thing, but I'm starting to see the votes. And this is where we got to go. If people want to change things, whatever it is they want to change, they got to vote and make that heard. You can't just talk about it. And it's funny you said that too. On Sundays, a friend of mine started a church called the Net Church a few years back, Rodrigo Cruz, and he says it's so funny that you go to the ball field, you go wherever, and all this, there's such a mixture of community, and then you go to church, and he's like, when I came over, because he was from Mexico originally, he said everybody looks just like me. He said,
That's it.
and he said I wanted to change that. I wanted people to get together and get to know each other, and I love
Yes.
that. I love that about him. I love that
Yeah.
about you. That's what we need more of.
You have to, and there's nothing wrong with that. I said, because there's enough in Gwinnett County for everyone.
Yes.
And you have to make it available. I mean, you can change the hearts and minds if you just make it inclusive for everyone.
Tell me real quick, because I'm, with these Zoom sessions, I'm never sure, because we started a little bit weird. You and I were having fun off air, so I want to make sure I get it all in. But I know you've got a 3T platform.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that for our audience.
Yes, my 3T platform is when I was in the Gwinnett 101 class, there's a 10-week course, which is it's the best course in the world to take. Okay. And we're cohort 7. Woo, woo.
All right.
Cohort 7.
Nice.
Cohort 7. Yeah, I have my crew. We are a family. Cohort 7 is a family. I mean, a diverse group of Gwinnetians from all 4 counties. They get together to look at the same thing with the same point of view. We hash it out, and by the time we get out of transportation, of policing, of EMS, of taxes, all of us know. And that's just another group of people now that's stronger about what we know. And so I looked at that prompted me to get my 3T platform of transportation, transformation, and transparency. Now, when you look at them, we understand that Gwinnett County had a referendum. And to my, personally, I think the reason why it wasn't successful is because you missed one district. You did not tell District 3 what's in it for us.
I agree, yeah.
We are pretty much the last frontier. We're the last frontier. District 3. We have the most voters, and we're the last frontier. We're the most rural of all 4 districts. You didn't tell us what was in it for us. You said what was in it for the West, but you didn't say what was in it for the East. And we wanted to hear it. We didn't. So the transportation plan has, the long range phase 1 and 2, and the short range. Okay, we understand that. Okay, so the transportation piece can be worked. We can enhance things with transportation. Transformation, that's the piece whereby we look at revitalization, we look at redevelopment, we look at taking our millennials and offering them incentives to come into Gwinnett County and basically establish their businesses using that old town, they say, structure that basically moves them into homes that are older in the community. And then in transparency, I feel that our constituents don't know enough. I mean, certainly we follow you and we hear a lot from you, but there are other folks that don't. So where did they get their information from? Well, if you would think about it, they count on their government. But when you have to go through 1,000 clicks just to say no, that is just.
It should be easy. It should be easy.
I mean, it should be. So what do we have to hide, really?
Well, and transparency is I mean, it is so important. And if you're joining us right now, I've got Jasper Watkins III, friend and colleague running for commissioner, District 3, Gwinnett County. Jasper, remind us again, cities. I know it's like you got Snellville and Grayson, and it's. Let me see here. Is it Auburn, Brazelton, Centerville, Decula, Grayson, Lawrenceville, Lilburn, Loganville, Mountain Park, Snellville? Is that about right?
Whoa, yeah, and some incorporated portions of that.
Now I was reading, so I'm not that smart. So I learned how to read and look at. But no, I mean that's right. I think oftentimes the whole left hand isn't telling the right hand exactly what's in it for them, and that's got to make people go to the ballot box. So, as we come to a close here in a couple of minutes, first of all, how can they reach out if they have a question for you? Because we got about 6-7 minutes left. Is it going into Watkins3for3.com?
Yeah, well, it would be Watkins3for3@gmail.com.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And I've had a number of people and basically send me questions. I have people say, Mr. Watkins, what do you think about along 78, all of these fast food places? I said, you know what? We need to stop creating these type of food deserts, and let's look at places where people can get nutritional value. Okay. There's small business out there that offer this. Mm-hmm. Let's compromise. Let's say 3 or 4 here and then 3 or 4 there. Yeah. Let's look at how we can bring these things together. Let's look at what's going on right now with the unrest in the United States, as far as what you see with policing. I think the key to that is when you bring law enforcement and the community together, take out the enforcement. Community can't enforce, so why not let's bring the law with the community. Now there is no reason to enforce. It's the law and the community. And I think at that point, we then can start dialogue and can make it better, believe it or not. Transportation, when we look at what we have in the county, I feel for my seniors and I feel for my veterans. Because as a veteran, I tried to go to the veterans clinic here, and it was about as bad as going to the clinic in Decatur. I was like, oh my gosh, these men and women fought and died for our country. Why does it take me 4 to 5 months to get an appointment, and then I can't get a parking space when I go there?
So transportation is, again, I watched this county develop in the 80s, and there's no public transportation, and we've got to figure out, and that's why I'm excited. Well, let me just say this. I mean, I want to just say this in support of you as people are making their choice of the ballot box. Bringing people to the table, every creed, age, millennial, baby boomer, whatever color, whatever belief, we all need to sit, look eye to eye, listen. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but that's how things are done.
It is.
And I mean, what you said today is what people need. We need this so bad in Gwinnett, and we need it in our country, because that's how real change is done. I mean, it's no shortcut to it. I mean, you've already outlined it.
No, because when you look at it like this, if you're going to have a serious conversation about transportation and redevelopment, and you hold the meeting at 6 o'clock, who are you going to get to come?
Right.
You're going to get baby boomers, period.
Yeah.
Maybe a sprinkle of millennials, but you're going to get baby boomers.
You're not going to get the people with their kids at practice, because they can't get there. Right.
They can't get there. So you're going to get a view, but not the view.
Yes.
And you can't say the 13 people that come there is making the decision for over 300,000.
That's right.
No. You have to go to every community. You have to go to Centerville. You have to talk to those community leaders in Rockbridge. You have to go to Tequila. I mean, you have to go to portions of Lawrenceville and Graysonville and Snellville unincorporated and talk to folks. You just can't make a decision based on a few. You have to talk to the community. And
well, I was going to say, your proven leadership, I mean, from Rotary and president of your homeowners association and 25 years of military service, which I thank you for, pharmacy. I mean, so it's such an impressive background, and I know such a service heart, because I'd considered running for something a couple of years ago, and I realized, man, it is a tough thing to do, and I just applaud for what you're doing, and I appreciate you coming on this community connection show, because, like you said, we're all in this together, right? And
oh yeah,
and if we want our community to be better, we all got to be participating together.
well, I'll put it to you like this. Gwinnett County has written a prescription. And as a pharmacist, I have to follow the 5 rights. I have to make sure that it's the right patient, the right drug, the right dose, the right route, and the right time. And it is the right time for someone to look at our county that way. Because in my profession, is not.
There's no room for
No.
I was just at the pharmacy picking some stuff up. Could be a fatal mistake.
Yes, it can be.
All right. Well, let's. I just want to thank you again for coming on. Any final thing? Let me make sure. So we got Watkins3for3.com. Do you want to put your phone number out there for people with any questions for your campaign?
Oh well, sure. If you would like to contact me or call me about anything that you've heard today, or about what we're doing, you can contact me at 770-609-5548. And I do answer phones, and I even answer texts even faster. So
it's funny, as we finish up, Jasper, I respond back to anybody that reaches out to me always, because people gave me chances along the way, and now I get, man, I didn't expect you to call me back, and I'm going, is that the level of customer service? But I'm just going to put it out there. This is the transparency. What you see, you and I on a Saturday afternoon, you're dressed a little nicer, but that's okay. I'm wearing a Nike golf shirt. I'm trying, but
well, no, I had to represent.
You did.
This is the show, so I had to represent.
This is John. I appreciate you carving time out for me, and we're going to be getting this out, and I know you will be, to voters, and if there's voters that are pondering, undecided, they can reach out to you. But any final thoughts you want to share as we close?
Yes, to all of the Gwinnetians here, I just want to say, and Ryan, I appreciate this. I want to say this too will pass.
Amen.
We are the United States of America.
Amen.
And that's it.
Well, Jasper, again, I thank you so much for your service and your leadership and your vision, and wish you the best and this coming June 9th, and whatever's going on. But you live your life the right way, and just knowing you as I have, it's just a pleasure, my friend. And I look forward to getting to see you in person before too long.
Oh, same here. Thank you so much.
All right. Blessings to you, man. And I'm going to finish this up right here. This has been Jasper Watkins III. We'll be sharing this, but he came on our Community Connection Show, special Saturday edition. And as we finish, Jasper, thanks again, my friend. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you, everyone in Gwinnett County.
Thank you. Folks, you've been listening to another Community Connections with Ryan Sauers, special guest Jasper Watkins III. We will see you again next time.